Hey guys, and I'm here today with what is sure to be the last in the designing a WordPress theme series. I said that in the last video, if you've watched it. Basically in this series we've been building a WordPress theme for my personal site, and I've shown you really every aspect of it. But today we're going to add some finishing touches, and we're going to talk about some things I forgot to talk about, or I said we'll leave for another time. We're gonna iron out most of those kinks today, and talk about some other things that go into building a website. As I said in the last video, by the time I finish this, it's gonna come out to over 9.5 hours worth of video. So I'm gonna have fun processing all this and editing it. But if we look, this is how we ended up. This is now on my actual website, not my local host. You can come and visit this right now. Last time we sorted out the header and some other things, but we left with some problems as well. For one, if we do a search for something like HTML, for example, the Google search page is a bit squashed in and doesn't work. So we need to get rid of the sidebar and expand out the area that it can take up. And also, if we look on here, there's extra space that doesn't need to be there between the title and the content. We're also gonna move this header down a bit so I can fit some ads in. I'm not actually gonna put the ads in this tutorial, but we are gonna do we're gonna look at some of the custom page templates that you use for WordPress to try and make this a little more generally useful. So the first thing we're going to dive into is something really simple. If we use Firebug here and looking at our head section, we can see we've got a whole bunch of content that WordPress is printing out. That's coming from WP head content, but we're not closing out any of our content or ending any of them or putting anything in the footer. Now there are things that need to go in the footer, but I forgot to tell you about this function. So here we are in our header file, and you see just before the end of the head we've got our WP head function. What we actually need to do is we need to go to the footer, and at the very end of the footer, actually outside of the footer before the closing div, we need to print WP footer, and it basically just does the same job as WP head, but just for the footer. So that's definitely something that you always need to add in to all your themes. I forgot about it, so I thought it was important that I mention it in this tutorial. Now, if we go ahead and refresh, looks like we've got issues here. Let's try and figure out what that said. Unexpected string. So let's work out what we may have done wrong there. Actually, let's go and head on over to our handy dandy function references page that we've used all throughout this. We're gonna get onto that later, but right now we're just gonna search for WP footer. So it looks like it's part of this WP head thing. So if we just look at what we had, it goes right before the end of the body tag, not the closing divs. Sorry, I put it in the wrong place. So just as that one goes right at the end of your head tag, that one goes right before your closing body tag. Well, what this does is basically make sure WordPress knows where the footer is, so if any plugins want to put stuff in footer, they can. If we save that, come back and refresh. We've still got issues, so we're just gonna try echo WP footer. No, we've still got issues. Well, let's move on to the next thing, and that is targeting this page and making sure we can get rid of the sidebar on this page. So let's get after that. Throughout this tutorial series, I think it's fair to say that I've tried several different ways of getting rid of the sidebar on the search page, but they've all failed. So we're not going to use a WordPress hook to do this like we probably should. We're just going to use some CSS to do it. So let's get after that. How are we going to do this? Well, we're gonna target the we're gonna target it in CSS based on what page it is. So we're gonna say to the CSS, if it's a page that's identifiable by this selector, and don't Okay, so what's the selector going to be? Well, we can do that by just pressing on our body element. We can put, and this is a Drupal function, WordPress function, gives us access to tons of cool stuff. We can just say PHP body class, and it'll put the class in for you, so you don't the class attribute for you, so you don't need to write that. So if we now look at our page in Firebug, what we're going to see is that on the body element, it's among other things, it's got when what our page ID is, so we can use that in the CSS to target what we want and do something else based on that. So if we so we're going to copy this page ID class name and target that. And IDs are unique, so it's only going to be for this search page. Normally this wouldn't be a good idea if you wanted to do this for multiple pages. You'd have to find another way, but this is only for one page, and I can go in and edit it if that page ID ever changes. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to say when the page loads, if the body element has a class of that, find the sidebar and set it to display none. And also we better get rid of the float none. And then we need to resize our content area accordingly. So we're just going to copy the same selector. I'm going to say inside a page with an ID of 164, get the main content area, which is called main content section, and we still want it to have a float of none, because the only reason why we needed a float is because the sidebar was there. But if it's not, we don't need it. But it had a static width before, so to set it back to its default width, taking up all of the space available, we're just gonna set it to width auto, and that should mean that on the search results page we now don't have our sidebar. So let's refresh. And yet the whole page is occupied by the search results. I may have to still trim that down a bit, but it's a lot better than it was. So and just to verify, if we go into any other pages, we now have that sidebar. And what's causing that problem? This problem here is that WP footer function that we're gonna re-put in. So for the time being, I'm gonna take that out, although it's important. So at some stage, I'll have to figure out why that's doing that and put it back in. So we've got
It's 13 hours.
the sidebar on everything but the search results page, which is a good thing because that means there's room for the search results. So if I search something, web design for instance, we get room for the full experience. The next thing we're going to do, and I've just remembered this, is we're going to add a bit of padding to the what do you call it? Search. We're going to add a bit of padding to the title area just to give it a bit of a nice buffer zone. So we're going to go back into our style sheet, and for the we're going to find out what div this is. It's that div there, the div with an ID of name and description. We're just going to give that a little more padding. So we need to find that. It's here. We may have to reduce the size slightly a little bit to compensate for the extra padding. So I'm going to say padding all the way around is, say, 15 pixels. Save that and refresh. And that didn't go exactly as I wanted it to. Let us figure out why. We'll try padding of 5 pixels. So looks like we've still got issues there. What we might do is just see if reducing the percentage that this is taking up helps any. yeah, so it was just basically that we were taking up too much room, so we moved that up to say 10 pixels. Oh no, we'll go 20. I think that looks good. But that we need to reduce the width to compensate for that. So let's just, that's good. So we've just got a nice buffer zone. That's all done there. So padding of 20 pixels and a width of 69%. $69. $20 pixels. So that's set. The next thing we're gonna deal with is, if you can see, because of one of the divs we used to clear, there's extra space and at the top there. If we look at these two divs with class of clear are creating extra space. So we need to combat the reasons why that's happening. So we're going to do that by, we're going to go into our style sheet, and we're going to add to this clear div up here. We're going to get rid of any default properties that could be causing us problems. So we're going to set the line height to 0. And the margin and padding to 0. Let's see if that got us anywhere. We're also going to set the height to 0. So as far as the user's concerned, it's basically not there. It's just in there for the CSS. So height is 0. We probably don't need the line height in there, because it's a div, so it doesn't have a line height. We save that and refresh, and it's just a little more. There's now no extra space taken up by that div that we didn't want. So what next? I'm not quite sure how far to go. I need to make room to put an ad in this head section, but I'm not gonna get the code for that during the tutorial, but I will make a div for it. So I think, because I'm gonna cheat, because we already have this name and description div that's floated, we're just gonna put it inside there. So we're just gonna say name, description, ad. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because our floats are already set to compensate for that. So it's gonna come to the left. So we're gonna put it before they start, because there's a nice space at the top. So we're just gonna create a div. With ID. Header. Add. And like I said, we're not going to put anything in there for now. I'm just going to put it in after the tutorial, but we're just going to simulate what it looks like. So that basically just means there's now room to put the ad in, and that shouldn't have had any effect on our page. I hope. I'll sort that out later. It's caused some issues, but we'll tackle that later. I'm just gonna reduce I'm gonna put it in the general kind of miscellaneous styling. I'm gonna say for any paragraph element with a class of meta info, we're gonna make it just display block, because that's what our it contains spanner, and we want it to have a background. So we're gonna allow to happen. We're gonna make font size 12 pixels, because we probably want it to be slightly smaller. We're gonna make the margin 3 pixels. And the background will have the same as the stripes for the comments. So FFF CCC. Go over and refresh, and where my name is, we should see some changes. And we didn't, because I only put the code on individual posts. So if we go to an individual post, we now get that effect. And I may just actually take out that declaration margin and just change it to a bit of padding instead. I'm going to now make sure I include that meta info area on the index page as well. So we're going to plop it in a similar sort of space on the index page after the title before the excerpt. We're going to get rid of the individual author declaration because it's probably better to have a group of metadata and not just the author. So we're going to paste that in there, and we should now see the same thing on the index page that we see. So if we go over to our index page, I just think that's a little nicer way to just display it. Talking of nicer ways to display it, let's now move on to one of our last things, and that's showing you how to style different elements of this with different WordPress templates. So I'm just going to pause for a little break, and I'll be back and we'll start doing that. Okay, so I'm back, and let's start looking at some of these template files we're going to use. We're going to need the codecs because I'll probably invariably forget to spell them. So most of what we're going to be doing is going to be based on this index.php file because that's our blog-centric version, and that's what it's going to use if none of these files are available. So, for example, if we look at one of our categories, it uses the same template as the index.php file to show the posts in that category, but there's no indication up here to the user that they are in the, for example, November 2009 category. So we should create a custom template and add that. So I'm going to create we're going to duplicate that file. I'm going to change this one to archives.php. And before our loop, we're gonna, and this is where we will need the codec to print out what the name of our individual archive is, because I've forgotten how to do that. So if we go out to our functions reference, and we go archives .php, customizing archives.php, maybe it'll be in here. So we've got a pretty complex notation here of basically checking it. What it's gonna do is it's gonna cycle through, just like our thing does. It's gonna cycle through what it could possibly be and check it. So we're gonna see if we can find a more simple way to do it than that, because that's a little bit what we want to target is the archive.php page, because we don't want to target in what we're going to display when the list of archives is shown. We want to target this single archive page, because that's all we're giving the user access to. So I'm going to change that to archive, and just to show that you can do whatever you want. Okay, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go over here and I'm we're gonna target we're gonna say now archive.php, because that's what we want to modify. We want to create an archive index. So we're just going to try printing the title, and that's going to be the h2 tag. So we're now going to demote the actual archive link to be in h3 tags to help our hierarchical differences. So we've already got one h2 tag on the page, so we're going to put the individual titles are going to go inside of h3 tag. And if we go back to one of our category pages, we should see a difference. And they're now inside h3 tags. So the point is we've been able to modify that. It looks like there's no easy way to print out the date of the date that the categories of. So, well, what we're gonna do is just we're just gonna come back here and copy all this code. And this looks like a lot of code, but all it's essentially doing is looking at different scenarios. So I'll do that later because that's specific to Woo themes. All I wanted to show you with that is we can target different pages individually, and we've proved that by the fact we've been able to change archives into H3 tags. So if we go back here, we can see the now H3 tags. One of the last things we're going to do is you can see we also print out categories, and we can also customize the category page. And if we look at the category zone, for example, it takes distance from the it takes a cue from the archive page because that's the nearest template we have. But I believe we can create another template based on this and call it
It's 13:30.
cats dot php. So if we look at that, and if we just, for example, put in a paragraph element, the word test, and we go back over here and we refresh, we go to a category page, we haven't got the word test, so it looks like it is indeed part of the archive page after all. So we're gonna take that out. Just as a side note, one of the interesting thing that I usually do is in every theme I create a blank template that I don't give any name in WordPress, so it isn't used for anything by the theme. But what it's there for is if I need to create another template at will, I've got a base to start from. So we're going to use this non-functional category template as an example. I'm just going to change it as blank template.php, and we're gonna have a what we do here is we take some things out to give ourselves a base from which to start from. So if we ever need to modify any templates, we've got somewhere to start, and then all we have to do is rename the file. So that's that. You can also have templates for individual authors. So if you've got multi authors in WordPress, and you need to control that, you can do that. I'm not going to show you that because this is my website theme, and I don't need to use it. But what I'm going to show you is, for example, the 404 template. Now, if you don't know what a 404 is, it's a page not found error. So if we should have created it off our blank. So for this one, what I normally do is just leave the basic loop in and take all the other content out. So if needs be, I can alter whatever I need to, and I've just got a really clean basic place to start from. I cut out too much on that occasion because I cut out the loop, the end of the loop, and I should always need that. So we're just gonna come back, cut that out. Sorry. Cut that out. So I've got a really clean base to start from any theme. So I'm gonna practice what I preach, and you duplicate this and you use it to demonstrate the 404 page. So if you know what a 404 is, it's a page not found error. So if we duplicate that and call it .404, you would never do this, but just to show you that I indeed have full control of it. All we're gonna do is make it 404, and I normally put a lot more thought into designing my 404 pages, but we're just gonna put test in the middle of there, just to show that we do indeed have control of it. So let's go to URL that doesn't exist. Just type in some random, and it's not working because I took my div out there. But if if you're looking at HTML. We have indeed or we should have our test content. Let's see where we went wrong. So it's not gonna have any posts, so we're gonna take out our loop out. So all we should get again, just to, not that I would do this, just to show you that you have full control, we're just gonna show that test should indeed print out. Now if we go into our body, inside our wrapper, because we've still got that get a header calling that, it should be within this main content section. There's a paragraph element with an ID of test. So that's just to show that we can also customize 404 pages and do whatever we want. Like I said, we can customize author pages, even pages for different tags, and just do a whole bunch of stuff. So that was just a proof of concept, but it's just an example of some of the things we can do. And that tip of creating a blank template, at least I've found in the past, has really helped. The last thing we're going to do is look at this in each individual browser, because browser supports an important thing. Now, obviously, because I'm on a Mac, I don't have access to Internet Explorer, and Internet Explorer is perhaps the most important browser you should test because it's the most different. But we're just going to look at some different browsers because that's a really important aspect of designing themes. So we're going to close some of that stuff out. So there's what it looks like in Firefox 5. I'm not running the beta of 6 yet. And if you go to the same page in so here are the same pages in Google Chrome, and we can see there's not that many differences, which is obviously a good thing. The last browser I've got on this particular computer that I can test is Safari, so let's pop that open. Go to the same URL. So this is Safari 5.1, the version that comes with Snow Leopard in, and it displays fine in there as well. Obviously, I'll be doing more browser testing with Internet Explorer when I can get on a Windows computer, and I'll be modifying that as and when I can. So that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching the series, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Come and check out. I was gonna say come and check out the website, but then looking at the navigation, but I remembered there's something else we're also gonna do. You can see if we go back into Firefox, because that's my favourite browser. You can see here the separator we added for the navigation bar, and there's also no link to the home page. These are things we can rectify inside of the WP nav function that we the page menu function that we added before. So when I was preparing to do the video, I noticed this. So WP page menu. These are all the parameters we can add in. We can include pages. We can export pages. We can see we can look at how it's sorted. But the big thing that I was interested in when I saw this is the three last items. We've already used menu class to define a custom class for our header, but there's 3 more items I didn't notice: show home, link before, and link after. So now, instead of having a technique that only works by CSS and only works in older browsers, what we're going to do is take that out of our CSS. Oh, and we're actually going to let WordPress generate it itself. So we're going to go back to the header, and now that we're going to be doing a long list of commands, what I'm going to do is leave that parameter where it is, but for the next one I'm going to put we're going to add in space for another parameter, and we're going to put in, first of all, actually, let's do this a different way. Let's do it the way they recommend. So we're going to say menu class. Instead of doing that, we're going to do is equal to menu and also primary nav. I'm going to say add a comma to that and say the next attribute we're going to define is exclude. A page with an ID of 164 because that's what navigation. We're also going to say show home is now going to be true instead of the way it defaults, which is false. And then link after each link. I'm going to say, I'm going to put a string and it's going to be a space. No, it's not, it's just going to be, and I found a page that shows all the way to how to print special characters in HTML, because you don't, it's bad practice just to put them in. So for the separated character that I want, it's called a lotus. So we're just gonna put ampersand lotus, and you always put a colon after defining those. So we're gonna add that. So let's summarize what we've done. We've kept the menu class the same, but we've told it to exclude page 164. We've told it to show a link to the home page and put a line after each link. So we save that and refresh. I'm hoping we'll get some results. Line 7. Sorry for that awkward cut there. The site's back to full health now. I wanted to say goodbye to you properly and thank you for watching this extremely long series. Those of you guys who wanted help with WordPress theming, I hope it's helped you. It's cool me making this series. You can see or if you could smell me, you'd be able to smell. I smell disgusting. I'm sweating. It's hot in this room and constantly talking like really tired. So I hope there's something in each one of these videos that helps you. I'm going to try and edit them down and condense them as much as possible. And I'm going to have to hide some personal information that's come up during the course of some of the videos. So and I'm also going to be rectifying some of the issues that still exist on the website later on off camera. So I hope you enjoyed these videos. Come and check out this website. By all means, come and check out the source code. I'm not going to be offering up the theme files, but you can come check out the source code to see what what changes I make as time goes on, because I will be making some changes. But for all intents and purposes, we've just built the WordPress theme that's going to be used on my website. So I hope you've enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. If you're at this last video and you've watched till the end, you deserve a gold star. Comment down below so that I know if you've watched this video. Comment. Pancakes are awesome. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video. My website address is down below if you want to come and check out this very website. Be sure to comment on your thoughts. Go back through and watch the other videos if you need some further clarification. If you comment down below with any issues you have, I'll do my best to help you. If you have any suggestions on how I could improve this theme, and you go to the website and they're not implemented yet, please feel free to drop them down below. I'd love to hear them. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you liked it. And yeah, thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Hopefully when I'm less sweaty. Bye guys.